Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Monday morning to you. Welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and I'm in the midst of sharing with you some responses to David Hester, with whom I had a formal public debate July 14th through the 16th, 2016, during our Preterist Pilgrim Weekend. During his very first affirmative presentation, Dr. Hester got up and simply rattled off 23 arguments in rapid style. Now, obviously, in a strictly time-restricted period, you don't have time to respond to every one of those arguments. It's just simply not possible. So I've been sharing with you a little closer look at every single one of Dr. Hester's arguments. I've spent maybe 3 videos now responding to his claim about 2 Thessalonians chapter 1. The depth of Dr. Hester's argument consisted of: Paul said Christ would come in flaming fire. So, Don, when did Jesus come in flaming fire? You know, folks, this is really not an argument. This is not an exegetical argument. For those of you who are futurist, may I urge you, may I ask you that you please seriously consider the nature of this argument. It is presuppositional to the core. It is assuming that the comment about coming with flaming fire must be taken in a rigidly, woodenly, literal manner. It does not prove that case. It assumes that argument. But an assumption is not an argument. It is no proof. Now, in response, I offer the following. Paul was writing to living, breathing human beings 2,000 years ago. Those living, breathing human beings, according to the text itself, according to the Greek text itself, according to all translations, those Thessalonian Christians, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, were being persecuted. Point number 3, according to Acts chapter 17, they were being persecuted by the Jews. Paul said it is a righteous thing with God to repay with tribulation, same Greek word, being troubled, Greek word thlipsis. So here are the persecutors who are troubling thlipsis, the Thessalonians. Paul said it's a righteous thing with God to repay with tribulation those who are troubling you. I pointed out Paul was not speaking of some future generation 2,000 years removed. He was writing to living, breathing human beings. And then Paul said to give to you who are being troubled, persecuted, rest, which is from the Greek word anesis, meaning relief. Relief when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven. Now, I posed the question to David. Did Jesus come in the lifetime of the Thessalonians 2,000 years ago and give them relief from that persecution? Yes or no? I pointed out that Paul did not promise them that they would die and go to Abraham's bosom. I noted Paul did not say that they would simply die and receive relief from that persecution. No, they would receive relief from that persecution, quote, when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven, unquote. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 7. And I asked David, did Jesus come in the lifetime of the Thessalonians and give them relief from that then ongoing persecution? Yes or no? That's a simple question. It's a powerful question. What was David Hester's response to my exegetical answer to his argument? He got up and said, I believe I heard Don Preston say that 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 has no application to us today. Folks, that was the totality of David Hester's response. He did not go to the text. He did not examine whether or not my analysis of the Greek words was proper. He did not answer the exegetical argument about Paul writing to living, breathing human beings. Now, Dr. Hester says he has taught classes on hermeneutic. One of the very first rules of hermeneutic is, in order to understand a text, you ask who, what, when, where, why, and how. I asked all of those questions in my textual analysis, in my exegesis. Dr. Hester asked none of those questions. So, in response to Dr. Hester's argument number 5, I ask that you look at his argument, the form of his argument, the shallow nature of his argument, and I ask that you examine the actual exegetical response that I gave. And ask yourself, did Jesus come in the lifetime of the first century saints of Thessalonica and give them relief and give their persecutors persecution? Well, if you know anything about AD 70, you know that Christ came, he turned the tables on the Jewish persecutors, and he gave the Thessalonians relief from that persecution. Thanks so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. In the morning, we will answer Dr. Hester's argument on Christ was going to come with the sound of a trumpet. And his argument was, Preston, when did Jesus come with the sound of a trumpet? You don't want to miss it. Hey, look, go to my website, eschatology.org or bibleprophecy.com, and order my book, In Flaming Fire. It is an exegetical, hermeneutical examination of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, and you will see in this little book that I answer David Hester's argument definitively and irrefutably. In the meantime, we'll see you on the flip side.